Well, good morning, guys. It's Kentucky Ambleman coming at you on a pretty foggy and dreary Wednesday morning. Riding home from work today. Uh, I know I didn't. I know I didn't get the normal vlog out on time this week. I've had some stuff going on, and between personal stuff and work, I just didn't have the time to get it done. But I'm trying to get you one right now. Coming through the construction here on my way home. It's going to be bumpy, just letting y'all know, but we're going to do our best here. So, as y'all know, I work for the ambulance, and we cover the 911 calls for the county, for a couple of counties actually. But this past week, me and my partner, who are both riders, motorcycle riders, we got a 911 dispatch for a possible motorcycle crash. So we go to where this is supposed to be, and sure enough, it's a motorcycle crash. It looked like it wasn't too horribly severe, but it was bad enough. You know, anytime a fellow rider goes down, it's bad. But as y'all know, everybody's starting to come home from the Sturgis rally, and the area that I work, it's a riding attraction. It's kind of like Deal's Gap. Really curvy, scenic roads, and you know, people from other areas of the state and other areas of the nation, you know, they seek this place out sometimes to do some riding. Well, this feller that crashed was coming back from Sturgis, and I'm not going to tell you his name or any identifying characteristics because, you know, that would be a HIPAA violation, unfortunately. But he was coming back from Sturgis, lived down south in the Carolinas, and said that he wanted to ride this area because he'd heard that it's really nice, really beautiful riding. So we get out there, and we get out of the truck and go to him and everything, and come to find out, a dog had ran in front of this fella, and he couldn't avoid it. And it was a rather large dog. It was a German Shepherd, adolescent German Shepherd, you know. He was riding a touring bike, a road glide, and you know, unfortunately it killed the dog, but he was all right. He didn't have a scratch on him. The bike, I can't say too much about that. Well, I can't really say that it fared as well, I should say. Inner and outer fairings were destroyed. He popped a hole in his clutch line, so he couldn't ride it home, couldn't ride it any further. Had to have it towed to the local tow yard, and hopefully he could find a part or something and get it back on the road. He was very adamant about finishing his ride. He said he'd planned it for over 5 years, and everybody backed out on him at the last second, and he decided he was going to do it come hell or high water. And you know, I can understand that completely. I commend him for that. But in the time that we were on the side of the road, and keep in mind, you know, it probably took us a good 10 minutes or better to respond, to get on scene from where we're stationed. While we were on scene, I watched several motorcycles just drive by, not even pay attention, not even slow down, not even stop to see if he was all right or if he needed anything, or they just drove right by him, never even paid any attention. So I wanted to come to y'all today and talk to you and ask you about one certain subject. if you guys see a fellow rider on the side of the road, what's your reaction? You know, I mean, whether it's a motorcycle crash or whether they're just pulled over or broke down or whatever, you know, how do you guys handle that? You know, the riders out there. You know, I've always been taught, and I've always had that unwritten rule that, you know, you don't leave a fellow rider on the side of the road. You know, you stop and you help and you do whatever needs to be done to make sure they're all right and that they can get back on the road. Now, you know, some of you guys might be saying, you know, well, emergency services was there. There was no reason for anybody else to stop and check on him and anything. Well, you know what? So what? You know, if I was on the side, if I had crashed my motorcycle and I was, you know, distraught and upset and, oh God, bumpy. If I was distraught and upset and, you know, I was having to deal with the police and having to deal with EMS or fire or whoever, you know, I personally would feel better having somebody there with me, even if I didn't know them, you know, just a fellow rider that, you know, I can say, you know, if I'm getting checked out or whatever, I can say, you know, hey, will you grab my insurance? It's in the saddlebag, you know, right saddlebag. You know, they're going to know what you're talking about and where to look for that stuff. But it just really surprised me that there was that many people. I'd say there's probably 5 or 6 bikes in the time that we were there that just drove by this guy. Never slowed down, never waved, never stopped to see if he was all right, nothing. And, you know, again, I can kind of understand it because, you know, emergency services were on scene. But at the same time, you know, you don't leave a fellow rider behind. You don't leave a fellow rider on the side of the road. Even if emergency services is already there, you know, why not stop and check him? Why not stop and say, hey, brother, you all right? You know, can I help you with anything? Have you got somebody on the way to get you back? You know, whatever. That's just my thoughts on it. You know, I think it's a shame anymore because, you know, even in a cage, you know, you can't, if you're broke down on the side of the road in a cage, good friggin' luck getting somebody to stop and help you. Because it's gotten so dangerous anymore that, you know, people are afraid to stop, and I understand that. You know, I still stop. I'll still stop and check on people and make sure they're all right at least. You know, but at the same time, I've always got my pistol ready to go just in case it's a scam or something, you know. But, you know, I just don't think it's right for people to leave other people, you know, on the side of the road with no help. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's rude, and it will come back to bite you in the ass. I promise you that. You know, I mean, it's just not right. You know, and especially in motorcycling, you know, we're supposed to be a band of brothers, I guess you could call it, you know, brothers and sisters. We don't leave each other stranded. You know, when I started riding street bikes on the street, you know, if I saw somebody on the side of the road or saw a motorcycle crash or whatever, I stopped. Regardless of if police or fire or whoever was on scene, I would stop and say, you know, hey, do you need anything? Are you good? You know, have you got somebody to come and get you back? Whatever. And, you know, that makes me feel good. That makes me feel like I've accomplished something, you know, like taking care of my fellow man. And not just that, but it's the right thing to do. You know, even in a cage, you know, I've stopped several times and changed tires for little old ladies or women that were alone or women that had children in the car or, you know, men that didn't know what they were doing, I guess you could say, or whatever. You know, I've stopped several times and helped them out. And I've stopped several times on a motorcycle. Well, every time that I see a fellow rider down, I stop. And every time that I see, well, not every time, but most times when I see a car on the side of the road, if I'm on the bike, I'll stop and check on them just to make sure they're all right. Because some of these roads that I ride are pretty remote. And if something is wrong, you know, it's hard to say when they're going to get help. You know, they may not have cell phone service. They may not be able to contact anybody. You know, I mean, I've pulled over on the side of the road before to help somebody, and come to find out they were trying to get to the hospital with their mother because she was having a heart attack. And, you know, I loaded them up in my car and took off to the hospital. I mean, you know, things like that is just what you do, you know. But, you know, we got this guy to the hospital, and he was still almost 500 miles from home. You know, he was trying to figure out how he was going to get his motorcycle home. Well, I gave him one of my cards, and I told him, you know, hey, look, if you can't find a way to get this bike home, you know, I work until Wednesday morning, but if you need something, if you need help, don't hesitate to call. You know, call me. We will figure something out. I'll find you somebody that'll take you to North Carolina or South Carolina or wherever you live. You know, you just have to tell, you know, call me and I'll help you out, brother. And, you know, I'm not saying that you should stop at every place and that you should do the things that I've done or whatever. But just stop and think, you know, if that was your mother or your dad or your brother, sister, son, daughter, whatever, broke down on the side of the road, whether it be on a motorcycle or not, would you rather them sit there for hours scared and helpless, or would you rather somebody that might be able to help stop and check and say, hey, can I help you? You know, I know that people nowadays, for the most part, are kind, are good people. You know, yeah, you still have them few rotten eggs that, you know, can't be trusted, and it's dangerous for someone to accept help nowadays. I do understand that. But for the most part, people are good. And, you know, it just blows my mind now how people won't stop to help, you know, that they're just in it to take care of themselves, that they don't care about nobody else. It just kind of blows my mind, you know. It's wrong. It's wrong. But I'm going to be getting into traffic here in just a second, so I'm going to jump off of here. Have a camping video coming up pretty soon. I'm going to go camping this week for sure. If I have to set it up in a monsoon, I'm going to go camping. But until next time, you guys keep the dirty side down. Be kind to each other, but stay away from each other. And we'll see you next time. God bless.